When we went to Operation Restored Warrior, I went with some pretty deep wounds that I was unaware of. We got there, man, and like, dude, Jesus literally just, it's like he poked his finger in it. And I was like, man, that hurt. He's like, yep, it's because it's still an open wound. We need to do something about this.
ORW is Operation Restored Warrior, an incredible, incredible ministry to soldiers who have been wounded.
Mike and I went out there as lifelong believers. The Lord just changed both of us in amazing ways. Like, I can't even fully unpack it still. Today, I'm still going through the things the Lord did in those moments.
Paul Lavelle and his guys have played such a huge part in the lives of the guys in Big Daddy Weave, especially when my brother was going through a really bad time, man. Jesus sent them to go and get my brother and to invite us to go through a process of healing that literally, I believe, saved his life.
Hey guys, hey, Mike and I were just talking. Have been talking with Paul Lavelle at Operation Restored Warrior, and they are having their 10th anniversary of ORW coming up at the end of May. And they're having all these vets, all these guys who have gone through this, and they would love for you to play for it, because you've been through it, you two guys. It'd be really special. Would you be up for that?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That would be amazing. Mike and Jay went through an experience that helped them so much that's basically designed for combat vets. But it meant so much to them that they're actually going to go back and play ORW's 10th anniversary reunion. And that's great. But Mike would actually like the guys to go through something like that they went through, which is pretty intense.
And it was just such a huge, huge moment in our lives. And then, hey, you know, even something cooler is that Paul said he would actually do some of that ministry time that Jay and I got to experience, but with the whole group, man.
That'd be awesome. I highly encourage that, man, because, dude, you know the dark place I was in, you know, walking through all kinds of dark days and the spirit of suicide on me. Went out there, man, and Jesus just put his finger on some spots I didn't even know existed inside of me. And he just drew it out and made it disappear, man. It wasn't like it was a scar, man. He made it brand new.
Come on, dude.
So I highly encourage
That's exactly what I was sharing with people when I came home, too, is it was like, I felt like I had been somebody from the Bible, that there was a story about like what Jesus had done in my life. Like I had been waiting in the line and that Jesus touched me like personally, you know? It's a game changer, dude, for real. Wow. It would be, man, I would love if we can do this. Can we do this?
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
You know, I'm in.
I'll speak for Jeremy. Yes, he'll do it. All right, I'm gonna let the man know. Thanks,
We're
guys.
doing it.
Yeah.
See ya.
Hearing the guys, Mike and Jay, kind of talk about what it really meant for them was really cool. They went through this 5-day journey of just getting kind of healed from those things, and it really had a significant impact on them. And for me, I'm really excited to go through this and to just experience what this is really like.
So I have a little calm in the storm right now. I have sent a couple of songs for some other guys to work on a little bit, and it gives me a couple of days off. And Anna is really busy with the movie, and the nanny's helping her, and so I'm able to slip away for a few days to be with the guys, which is really awesome. And it's gonna be great. We're gonna have a couple days of going through a really cool ministry together. Man, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Lord does with this.
The difference of seeing those guys after they've gone through their program was just incredible. So to have a small segment of that ourselves and get to squeeze that in personally, it's like I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Operation Restored Warrior. What is it? It's a Jesus-focused ministry that addresses the issues that our combat warriors are dealing with. And I felt like ORW came in to fill a void and to fill a gap. Things that happen in combat, as human beings, we were never meant to do that. We weren't meant to kill each other like that. We've had an incredible percentage of men that have come through that have gotten their hearts restored. Hey, Mike! How are you, buddy? Ollie! So good.
Pulling up and seeing these mountains and the guys coming out to greet us, it's like, wow, we're here. We're doing this. I'm walking in. I'm ready to go.
My brother of a different mother, J-Dog. How are you, Bill? Doing well. How you guys doing? Good. Hey, guys. Hey, what's going on? How are you? All right.
So we show up and we see Paul and his guys in this just picturesque, you know, backdrop. I'm just thinking, dude, I hope the other guys are as blessed by this experience as Jay and I were.
It's challenging when you come to something like this that was so meaningful to somebody you're close to, and they want you to experience just as much as they did. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't really know if all of us will, or maybe we.
So good to have you here. How was your trip?
Good.
Pretty good? Uneventful. What do you think of this place?
This place is beautiful.
Not bad.
So I don't know what to expect from this time. I know that I don't always handle stress well. I know it affects me physically, it affects me emotionally, it affects my family, it affects the people around me. And so I think, man, I'm just hoping that, man, maybe that's something that the Lord can deal with me in this process.
Hey, you know, these guys have been through the program with us already, and I'm really looking forward to having you guys join us these next few days. So what I'd like to do is, these are my guys, part of the team. We'll do introductions inside. So if you'll follow us, we'll head in. So good to have you.
And getting to see these guys, I think it's going to be really exciting what's going to happen. They look like some warriors, and they look like they've been through some things, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about what's about to happen.
My position is in Operation Restore Warrior. I do all the processing, the phone calls, the gathering of the overview of the person's story, and once they arrive here, then I just become another member of the team as a facilitator. I retired as a first sergeant in the Marine Corps in November 30th of 2010. And at that point in time, what little did I know was ahead of me was not to be a good transition at all for me after retiring and into the civilian world. But I was to the point where I just didn't want to live anymore. I just didn't. And but you know, what I know now is to be the grace of God. I found Operation Restored Warrior. And I got in, so excuse me, and it changed my life.
For me, I was a 240 gunner. I don't think you can really prepare yourself for what you're going to experience going through, even though I felt like I joined later. I was 28 when I joined. It can kind of take its toll on you, and so I think the way that you are taught to deal with it is just to suppress it, ignore it, push it down. Problem is you can only do that for so long till eventually it starts working its way out in other areas. And so I was just totally disconnected from my wife. I was just emotionally dead. A guy that I served with in Afghanistan actually told me about ORW. And I was like, hey man, can I go to this thing? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So he got me going. So that was, I think May or June of 2012 that I came through a drop zone. And he set me free in ways that I couldn't get out of myself. Didn't matter how much counseling, how much medication, that doesn't just make it go away. You know, but Jesus had to come in and heal those places, and he did.
Welcome. It's really good to have you guys here. I'd like to introduce our first facilitator, it's Jordan Fulton, and he's going to be teaching on the heart of a warrior, as well as an introduction into the spiritual warfare that we engage as warfare in the kingdom. Jordan?
When Jay and I came, we came to an event called Drop Zone, which takes 5 days to go through. Since then, Paul and the guys have made an even more intensive 2-day program. That's what we're going through right now. This is just chock full of information, and we're just going from session to session to session.
If you have a broken heart, if there's fractures, if there's little breaks.
When we went to Operation Restored Warrior, I went with some pretty deep wounds that I was unaware of. We got there, man, and like, dude, Jesus literally just, it's like he poked his finger in it. And I was like, man, that hurt. You know, he's like, yep, it's because it's still an open wound. We need to do something about this, you know?
Most men are afraid and many are ashamed. We hide behind a fake self and then pose for the world to see. And if somebody starts to see right through it, what do? Develop another one to cover that up. Next thing you don't know who you are. The true identity of each and every one of you is this. You men are the Son of God. You're a brother to Jesus, and you're a dwelling place for the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do an exercise, and I'm gonna give you guys about an hour to go out, and you guys are gonna take a covenant of silence, and you're gonna answer these questions. First one is, Jesus, do you love me? Number 2 is, Jesus, how have I been posing? And thirdly, Jesus, show me what I have misinterpreted in my life.
I think one of the ways that I put on this false self is through self-deprecating humor. And if I will make a joke about the way that I look or about something that I'm uncomfortable with about myself, if I beat somebody else to the punch, then that really kind of, it protects me from them getting there and actually touching a place that is a place that I care about very much, and have walked in a great deal of pain over in my life.
I hide how stressed I am, I think, most of the time. But I think for me, it's just being able to, learning to be more open and not letting my identity be someone that is quiet and who doesn't necessarily speak up.
The voices that I would hear is, no one else struggles in this way. You don't want to admit that because you'll be ostracized. You're the only guy that has any of these issues. So it's like, and that's a lie. So really to operate more in honesty and transparency, that's really where the ministry is at, and be in that journey together.
It's kind of a cool moment when things kind of get revealed to you. When you really listen, you know that it's the Lord and telling me where I've kind of put myself in a position where I've been standoffish as far as like, I'm good. I'm fine. Realizing like, maybe I shouldn't do that.
So going into this time was just seeking that space out of like, what do you want me to take away from this, Lord? To maybe reveal something to me. And then I hear birds. And I thought, for me at least, the scripture came to mind that said, these sparrows are 2 cents for 2. You're worth a lot more than that. That was the message that I took away.
And for me, it's just the age-old, I'm fine. It's just a matter of just really just being real. Lord, just saying, hey, your realness can also be what allows other people to be real as well and come vulnerable. It doesn't come natural to me, but I can tell you this, with Jesus' help, we're gonna work on it.
The reality is the pose is not the truest thing about you. What's the underlying piece of that forces us into these poses? And the underlying piece is the wound, and it may be multiple wounds.
I think the idea is, to be more honest and transparent about the scary parts of it and not just look like nothing can affect you. Nothing could get you that far gone or that deep or hurt you that deep.
Here's the thing, our freedom is so important to him because there are so many others that are depending on us, right? If we get set free, there's a ripple effect.
But we really got to see like what they do for veterans and for others that come through the program, as far as just the people that get delivered from crazy things that they've been going through.
Profession as well. Remember, there's a message that comes with every wound. What's the message that you have lived under most of your life? I want you just to take about 10 to 15 minutes. I want you to sit down, and I want you to be as honest as you possibly can. And we're going to break off into groups one-on-one, and we're going to pray over those wounds. We're going to invite Jesus to come in to heal them.
One of the most important parts of the entire experience is going with one of the counselors who's there, and they have received training on how to walk with people back through areas of their life where we have been wounded, and then make agreements with lies that the enemy wants to tell us about those wounds.
Because of the season that I've been in, dealing with stress has been a really big topic for me. Being able to step aside with Paul, he struggles with the same thing. Being able to hear him in the way that the Lord has worked with him, and especially in that environment, it's so beautiful. You just feel the peace of the Lord while you're there, and that was a really welcome thing in that moment.
I feel like it was very hand-selected by the Lord to put me with someone with some similarities. That was just really cool. So within the first 5 minutes or so, I was smiling a good bit just because, like, are you kidding me? This is pretty much perfect.
And going out and really kind of having the time to really just kind of walk through some of the hurts and different things that we've gone through, going through our infertility journey. I don't want to hold on to that anymore. Like, I want to let go of that. I want to be able to experience joy, and it's really cool to just walk with him and for him to just kind of pray with me in those moments.
When I was 15, my 21-year-old brother was hit and killed by a drunk driver. And that still leaves some scars. and it did on my family. And we were able to pray through some of that. Troy was my facilitator in this, and what a huge heart. This is a 9 times deployed Marine who's tough as nails, but tender as anything you could ever imagine.
It felt like he was reading my mail. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, who told? You know what I mean? Like, somebody tattled, you know what I mean? But he began just to speak over me and uncover layers like you're peeling an onion. You know what I mean? It was amazing. It was remarkable just to see how Jesus did it.